Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm about to ready to do the final disassembly, or final assembly, excuse me about that. I've got all my supplies together finally. The rings are on and the orientation is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I need for the final assembly. I went ahead and polished out the time and chain setup. I might swap time and chains. I'm not sure which one's better. I have two of the identical set. I have to keep them on the motor to keep the balance true. There's my ring compressor for 30 over, so I'm going to use that to drop the pistons in. I got Cleveland trusted bearings there, red Loctite for the ARP cam bolt, and the solid roller camshaft bullet. That's a 600 lift camshaft, perfect for the application. Now look, I'm trying to seat the rings real good to the cylinder walls. Last time I used comp cam oil with zinc in it. This time I'm going to go ahead and use the Lucas with the zinc additive. This seats the rings to the cylinders better for the first 500 miles break-in. I'm also using these Cleveland ends, so when I drive it in, nothing contacts the beautiful fresh cylinder walls. You know what I mean? The pins. So I've got those two. I'm going to go ahead and show you a really quick orientation. Now the orientation, as you can see, try to zoom in. And pointing to the left is the front of the motor, and those are all the orientation, how these have to be. Now this is the passenger side, but it's same for the driver's side as long as it's facing toward the front of the engine. Now these pistons do not have the dimple. The ones with the ring, the piston pin goes into the oil section. You have to move the dimpled ring over from your old piston and put it at the bottom with the dimple facing downward by the pin. Now my application's different, and I'm going to show you how. You see my wrist pin? It's below. It's not segmented. It's not up here like a 347 would be. So that dimple pin that needs to go facing down, I don't need that. I don't need to transfer that over. These are the Wiseco rings that came with these pistons. These have already been file fitted for the application, and these are forged pistons. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you ring orientation for the setup. Now this is facing, this is number one, and facing the front of the motor, it would be like this. Number one is right over there. It would be like this. So the chamfer on 1 through 4 would have to be to the right or to the inside. You see? See that chamfer? That has to be this way. Cylinder 2, this way. Cylinder 3, this way. Now, cylinder 4, 5, 6, and 7, the chamfer has to be going this way at the end of the crank in each cylinder. So that chamfered side of the rod has to be facing this way. So 1 through 4 has to be facing the right, and 5 through 8 has to be facing the right. So with that being said, my next move is what I was talking about, is ring orientation. And let's see, I'm just going to bring you in here to the kitchen to a little bit more light. Now, this is the front of the motor. And as you can see here, let's see. I got the top ring would be right there, and 180 degrees apart would be the second ring. Now, let's see. This is facing this way. So the oil ring expander, if this is one, would be here. The top gap would be here. The second gap would be here, and of course these two along with the pen line uh, associated 180 degrees apart. I followed the diagram perfect for both sides. This would be facing the front of the motor this way. I'm going to go ahead and bring you back. So this is number 1 cylinder, like this, and that chamfer side will go inward. So I'm going to go ahead and press in, pull in number 1 and number 2. 1 and 2. Now these are all, I went ahead and took care of these all the same with the ring orientation. I just kept it corresponding to the diagram. So when the piston moved in the opposite direction, I just kept it pointing this way, and I went exactly the same way for both sides. I followed the diagram. So that's pretty much easy and not a hard thing. I'm going to go ahead and show you. Look at this. I'm just barely turning it with my hand. You know, it takes a little movement. It's not exactly easy, but it's fluid. And it's right too. Let me go ahead and pull this thing over. So as always, like, subscribe, and share, and keep on dreaming. This is the last leg of the 393 stroker.